Willie D Live.
The one thing that on the highest on a lot of people's political agenda is to stop wokeism. Now, I don't understand how not learning about Harriet Tubman is going to put food on your table. I don't understand how eroding black history is going to make gas prices lower or get you a job or stop your schools from being underfunded. But that is what people will do in lieu of good ideas. They will elevate hate and separation and destruction as opposed to doing things that are effective for the populace.
You mentioned Governor Gavin over in California earlier. Do you think that he's doing enough to stop these smash and grabs that's going on all over California?
I think that's a city ordinance thing, and I think that when you look, here's the thing: everybody looks at those smash and grabs, right? More people, more retailers lose merchandise from employees that steal than they do random and just run-of-the-mill shoplifting than they do that. But it has become the symbol of what's wrong in retail. Retail is in a lot of trouble for a lot of reasons. Even before there was smash and grab, you couldn't go to a store and get shampoo without somebody coming and give you the combination to the safe. But it's funny how interesting those people that smash and grab, they sell those things to people. They don't just wear them. They get crowbars, they get clothes, they get purses, and they sell them to people. They just know I'm gonna take these jackets or these purses, drop this off, and it's gonna go to somebody, and they're gonna cut me a check. So yes, that's bad, but find the motherfuckers who are paying them to do it.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that like they're doing a lot of robbing and looting, but the biggest robbers and looters are members of Congress and those who work in corporate America and at these banks.
Right.
They are the biggest, like while these guys are getting a few $1,000s when they go do a smash and grab, these guys are smashing and grabbing daily hundreds of millions of dollars from the American people.
And nobody says anything. It's like there should be no excuse why the American people aren't supportive of the labor movement in America. No reason. No reason. You watch it. We see CEOs whose pay goes up exponentially. You don't say shit about that. And then they get the benefit of not paying. None about that. But the dude who's driving the truck, you mad at. The actor who wants, to be treated fairly, you mad at that. The dude who's making the car you driving, you mad at that. There's no reason. The only reason any semblance of the middle class exists in this country is because of unions. Period. Otherwise, your ass would be, it would be kids working in places. It would be dangerous situations far more than they are now. And the one thing I will say, there's a reason why now all these labor movements are demanding and striking. It is because they have seen productivity's gone up, the CEO's pay has gone up, but their wages are stagnant. Man, the UPS drivers, they were fighting to get heat and air in their trucks, man. Come on now. Come on now. So I just think because we're so aspirational, everybody wants to be rich, you will give them more deference than you do to the person that drops off your packages or makes your car. But ultimately, all of us want to know that our work is rewarded. And there's a fair sense of compensation and accomplishment. After COVID, one thing sure, people weren't going back to shitty jobs. They weren't going to be treated like they were before. And so there's a resurrection. Without a death, there can't be a resurrection. And the mindset of the American labor movement has been resurrected in a different direction.
Yeah. You're from Virginia, right?
I was born in Virginia. I'm from Los Angeles.
But Los Angeles is home for the last, what are you, six decades?
It'd be 6 decades in 4 months, in 8 months.
Yeah. And I'm laughing and joking, but that's an honor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a privilege.
It is.
Because especially when you consider where we come from.
Yes, and what we've seen.
What we've seen and what we've done.
Right.
You know, like, I mean.
I don't know what you've done, Willie, but I'm telling you.
I'm just saying, you know, like, well, you've done something.
Yeah, a few things.
You was in the Bloods.
I was indeed.
So you did something.
Yeah, I did a few things.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's so funny. We were talking last night in the green room. That's the one thing I despise about what we are now is if we had taken some of the people who have been killed, unfortunately, not here, and I'm not just talking about famous rappers or famous people, period. Imagine how different you are than you were then. The old you, the old you would hate the new you. Like I hate who I was.
Yeah.
I hated the way I reasoned. I hated the way I think. I would hate to meet the 25, 30-year-old me. It would be repugnant to me. But imagine you got to have that continual experience where you land here. The shame is once you get past being stupid, it's a whole great life out here. But chances are, because of the environments we find ourselves in, a lot of people don't get to get past. They don't get to grow past stupid.
Yeah, I think maybe you meant to say this, but I think the new me would hate the old me.
Well, yeah, or inverted, yeah.
Because I look back at the old me, and I was like, that guy, I think he can be reached.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to reach out,
Right.
I need to be careful how I reach out to him.
It would have sickened you. This is just the way that you process things, the things you believed, the ideas in your head, and all you did is live and learn. That's all you did. And the shame is that so many of us don't get to.
And imagine if Pac and Biggie were still
Imagine
around.
if
would they have been Nipsey and I mean, so many people.
It's so many,
people,
imagine, you know, the kids that were cut off before, you know, in drive-bys or environmental sicknesses, or the fact that young lives are lost in that cauldron of bullshit that we find ourselves living in makes me sad. And I lament the fact because when you get to be a certain age and you're a black man, you've beaten the odds.
Yeah. And let me ask you this. Do you have any trepidation about reaching out to some of the youngsters because of your past? Like the things
I feel
that you've done in the
disingenuous. Yeah, I feel like I'm lying.
Why is that?
Because I got the GED. What am I going to do? Go to people and tell them to get educated? What am I going to do? Like it seems hypocritical to me to walk up to young brothers and tell them that there's a better way.
Now, here's why I think that you should reassess that. If I come from around the corner and I'm bleeding profusely, and I say, man, don't go around there, they stabbing everybody that run around that goddamn corner, they stabbing them.
Right.
And you say, well, they ain't stab me, they stab you.
Right.
Let me go my ass. And you take your little happy ass. Would you really go around that corner? Most people would not go around that corner if they see you bleeding profusely.
Right.
So why would you do that if somebody has experience? I know people do it because they think it ain't going to happen to them.
Most people.
They think that.
The insurance industry is built on that,
It doesn't matter how many drug dealers come into the world.
Right.
And how many go down, how many get maimed, murdered, spend
paralyzed.
decades. It doesn't matter. Every dealer thinks
it ain't gonna be them.
That it ain't gonna happen to them, or they're a little bit smarter than all these other guys. And the only way you're gonna be like retire as a drug dealer with all of the money in the house on the hill is that if it's government sanctioned, you're gonna have to have it. The government gonna have to sign your checks,
and a whole lot of people to tell on.
Yeah,
a whole lot of people.
Something along those lines, you might have a shot, but it's no way possible you're gonna be standing on that corner.
But look at all the things now. Like we talk a lot. We like to eat good. We talk good. We laugh good. I could never fathom being this way when I was younger, and now I couldn't fathom being that when where I'm at now. I never thought that I would be blessed to see some of the things I've seen. I never would have thought it. And it's a beautiful thing to watch the next iteration of you, your grandchildren, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think that if people knew what was on the other side of the bullshit they were going through, I think they walk differently.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things society is complicit in is snuffing out any semblance of the idea of a future and hope. Like you talk to young bros right now, young dudes right now, they don't even know what tomorrow is going to be like because they haven't even shaped that idea in their minds.
What's on the other side of black men who disparage black women collectively? The ones who say, I hate them.
Do you know what's so funny? Part of the reason I despise who I was is because of a mentality that I had, particularly about women. You know what I mean?
Okay.
How dismissive I was. How some of the things. Now, I'll never apologize for a joke, but I am sorry for some of the things I believe to be true and some of the ways I acted. And so part of what we find ourselves, this patriarchy thing where women, part of that, anybody who's said or done anything that contributes to it is a part of it. I can't pretend like I didn't do or say things that contribute to a scenario a situation we find ourselves in now. So that's part of one of the things that I dislike about myself. But I think if you know better, and I don't want to make an excuse for the things I said and believed and did. Because they happen, and I take ownership of them, and obviously I can tell you how sorry I am. That doesn't give me a pass. But I think if you know better and you do it, there's an entirely different scenario than if you don't. Like, there are gradations of murder. There's manslaughter. There's first degree, second degree. So, like, even in the taking of a life, there are ways that it's viewed. There's a difference between me just wantonly killing somebody or killing someone in self-defense or having to spur them on. Just like there's a difference in having these mindsets. If you're informed, or you should be. And one of the things is now, the only things you don't know is what you don't want to. The only things you don't know is what you can Google. You could Google how to make a bomb, tie a bow tie. You could, there's all the information is literally in your fingertips. So the information about how to interact with people and how to treat people and how to develop a better understanding of people is available too. And if you don't access it, I think that to me is deliberate. I think that you can't say that you didn't do it on purpose because that's willful. That's a willful act to me.
Yeah. And not to belabor the line of questioning, but is that the reason why it's so important to you to defend black women?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But but in a way, to me, sometimes people have a problem with the way you love them. You know what I mean? Like, the bravest thing I think anybody ever does is love someone. But sometimes the way I love you isn't the way you want to be loved. All I got is what I get. All I got is what I got in my inventory. It doesn't mean I'm not going to make jokes. It doesn't mean I'm not going to say. But the one thing I take umbrage with is every time you say something about somebody, you talk about black women. No. I'm talking about this particular individual who I have a problem with. And I refuse to see the notion that I can't make an assessment of somebody without it having been in the collective.
Do you find it like, are you aware that, like, and I'm not picking on women, but women seem to take up for other women, even if that woman might be that person you're describing as doing something dirty or low down.
Right.
For example, a woman could actually be a hoe. Right? She could actually be a hoe.
Right.
Like, definition meaning that she go out and she sleep with a whole bunch of men. That's what she do.
Right.
And she's proud of it.
Right.
She might even get paid for doing it. And she'll brag about doing it.
Right.
But if a man says something about her, no, you can't say anything. But if you flip the script, if a man, if a woman says something about a man who's a hoe, living life like that, giving up his, sleeping with a whole bunch of different women and acting reckless and perhaps he don't take care of his kids or whatever. Everybody go, yep, that's true. Yeah. Like, we can accept a woman saying, like, if she specified that man, if she don't say men, all men or whatever, we okay with that. We can say, yeah, she's talking about him, not me.
Right.
Why is it that women like will collectively just take up for all women?
Yeah, here's the thing.
I think they do themselves a disservice when they try to take up for the chick that's living a certain style.
I think that what I've learned is that a lot of people, the people that we see on the internet or writing these blogs or these articles, aren't indicative of the, of the population at large. You know what I'm saying? Because we can, people will go, man, people on my timeline said, I heard this, or people ask me. So it's a very small sample size. I will say that when you where we are, I love you, you love me. I've had problems with what you do. You've had problems with what I do. That doesn't mean that I don't respect you or I don't love you or that I don't. I think that they think it's a total package. A lot of people who tend to think that way think that it's a zero-sum game. I have to accept all of something or I can't accept any of them.
Right.
There are people who do problematic things. And I resent the notion that if you estimate those things as problematic, that somebody owns the verbiage that you tend to use. Well, you shouldn't call it that. Listen, I don't use my words frivolously. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And I don't plan on reporting to a collective to tell me what that means. But I like the idea of being unified about it, but not in bullshit.